Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to analyze the business model of KASPI, one of the most important and dominant fintech companies in emerging markets. KASPI is based in Kazakhstan and operates what is often called a super app. Inside a single mobile application, users can send money, pay bills, shop online, take loans, and manage their bank accounts. In simple terms, KASPI combines the function of companies like PayPal, Amazon, and Klarna into one integrated ecosystem. Because of this model, the KASPI app has become one of the most important used digital platforms in Kazakhstan, with millions of people relying on it every day for payments, shopping, and financial services. To understand how the company works, we need to look at its three main business segments. The first segment is the payment platform. KASPI operates the largest digital payment network in Kazakhstan. Users can send money to friends, pay for groceries, pay taxes, and even pay government fines directly through the app. Merchants across the country accept KASPI payments using QR codes, making transactions fast and convenient. Every time a payment is made, KASPI earns a small processing fee. Because millions of transactions happen every day, this creates a highly scalable, profitable revenue stream. The second segment is the KASPI marketplace. This is one of the largest e-commerce platforms in Kazakhstan. Merchants can list their products directly inside the KASPI app, reaching millions of customers. Consumers can buy electronics, household goods, clothing, and many other products without ever leaving the app. KASPI earns money by charging merchants commissions on sales and by offering advertising services that help merchants promote their products. One powerful feature of the platform is that financing is integrated directly into the checkout process. For example, a customer can buy a smartphone and pay for it in installments using the KASPI credit. This makes shopping easier for consumers and increases sales for merchants. The third segment is fintech and banking. KASPI provides a wide range of financial services, including consumer loans, buy now, pay later financing, deposits, and merchant loans. Because the company has access to massive amounts of transactions data from its payments platform, it can analyze customer behavior and approve loans almost instantly. Interest from these loans is one of the company's largest profit drivers. Now, when we combine these three segments, payments, marketplace, and fintech, we get a powerful ecosystem where each part reinforces the other. The more people use KASPI for payments, the more merchants want to sell on the marketplace. And the more transactions occur, the more data KASPI has to offer financial services. Now let's talk about KASPI's customers. The company serves two main groups. The first group is consumers. Millions of people in Kazakhstan use the KASPI app every day to manage their finances, send money, and shop online. For many users, the app has become a central part of their daily life. The second group is merchants and businesses. Hundreds of thousands of merchants use KASPI to accept payments, sell products online, advertise their stores, and access financing. This two-sided marketplace creates powerful network effects. More users attract more merchants, and more merchants attract more users. When we talk about competitive advantage, KASPI appears to have a very strong moat. First, the company benefits from powerful network effects. Because millions of consumers and merchants already use the platform, it becomes very difficult for competitors to convince them to switch. Second, KASPI operates a fully integrated super app ecosystem. Payments, shopping, and banking are all connected inside one platform. This creates high switching costs for users. Third, the company has a massive data advantage. By analyzing payments and shopping data, KASPI can make better credit decisions and offer personalized financial services. And finally, KASPI has achieved dominant market share in Kazakhstan digital payment industry, which gives the company significant scale advantages. Now let's look at the management team. KASPI is effectively a founder-led company, which is something I really like as an investor. The CEO and the chairman have played a major role in transforming the company from a traditional bank into a leading fintech platform. Both leaders own significant stakes in the business, which aligns their interests and with shareholders. Over the years, management have demonstrated strong execution by building a dominant payments network, launching a successful marketplace, and expanding the platform into multiple financial services. However, like any investment, KASPI has also some risks that we should consider. The biggest risk is geographic concentration. Most of the company's business is still located in Kazakhstan, which means the company is exposed to political and economic risk in that country. Another risk is regulation. Fintech companies operate a highly regulated industry, and the new financial regulations could impact lending or payment services. There is also credit risk. Because KASPI provides consumer loans, economic downturns could increase loan defaults. Finally, the company is beginning to expand internationally, including a move into Turkey, through investments in the e-commerce company Hepsiburada. International expansion always carries execution risk, especially when entering new and competitive markets. Despite these risks, many investors view KASPI as one of the most impressive fintech platforms in the emerging markets. The company has built a powerful ecosystem that combines payment, e-commerce, and financial services into one platform. In many ways, KASPI has become the digital financial infrastructure of Kazakhstan. And if the company can successfully expand beyond its home market, the long-term growth potential could be significant. Now, in this part of the video, I am going to analyze the financials and fundamentals of KASPI and summarize the company's full year 2025 results. Overall, 2025 was another strong year for the company. KASPI continued to grow its ecosystem across payments, e-commerce, and fintech services. Although reported profit growth was slightly impacted by expansion investments and macroeconomic factors. For the full year 2025, KASPI generated roughly 4 trillion Kazakhstani tenge in revenue, which is approximately $8 billion. Net income reached 1.1 trillion tenge, or about $2.1 billion. On the surface, reported net income appeared relatively flat year over year. However, if we look at the underlying performance of the business, revenue grew about 21% and underlying net income increased about 18%. The difference mainly comes from investments in international expansion and some regulatory changes that affected report results. To understand the company's performance better, we need to look at its three main business segments: the payment platform, the marketplace, and the fintech platform. Let's start with the payments platform. This remains one of the most stable and profitable parts of the business. During 2025, total payments volume grew about 19%, while the number of transactions increased roughly 14%. Revenue in the payment segment grew about 12%, and net income increased about 13%. What makes this segment particularly impressive is user engagement. On average, active consumers made about 77 transactions per month on the platform. That level of engagement is extremely high for a fintech ecosystem and shows how deeply KASPI is integrated into everyday life in Kazakhstan. This is more than 2 transactions per day. Now, the second segment is the marketplace. KASPI's e-commerce platform continued to grow strongly in 2025. And is becoming one of the company's most important growth drivers. Marketplace revenue increased faster than total merchandise sales, which means the company is improving its monetization through higher commissions and advertising services. Net income from the marketplace segment grew about 9% year over year. Another important driver was advertising. As more merchants sell products through the platform, many of them pay for advertising to promote their listings. This has become a fast-growing and a highly profitable revenue stream. The third segment is the fintech platform. This segment includes consumer lending, buy now, pay later services, deposits, and merchants financing. During 2025, the company's loan portfolio grew approximately 31%. Showing strong demand for credit across the platform. However, profitability in this segment was slightly affected by higher interest rates and the higher deposit cost. Because KASPI relies on deposits and funding to finance loans, rising interest rates can temporarily reduce margins. Even so, the fintech segment remains a major profit contributor for the company. Another important development during the year was KASPI's international expansion strategy. The company has been investing heavily in Turkey through its stake in the e-commerce platform Hepsiburada. In 2025, the Turkish business showed encouraging growth. Purchases on the platform increased about 19%. Monthly active users grew roughly 15%, and revenue rose around 13%. However, KASPI is currently investing heavily in that market, so the company expects the Turkish operation to operate close to break-even in the near term while it focuses on scaling the platform. When we look at profitability overall, KASPI remains an extremely profitable company. This can be seen in the margins. The gross profit margin, which is the blue line in the chart, is around 47%. Net profit margin is 26%. These are again depressed margins due to the investments the company is doing in Turkey. Now, despite the investments in international expansion, the business still generated more than $2 billion in net profit in 2025. The company benefits from high margins in its payment platform and strong cross-selling between its marketplace and financial services. Another important aspect of KASPI's fundamentals is its capital allocation. The company generates strong cash flows and historically returns a significant portion of profits to shareholders through dividends. For 2025, management proposed a dividend of around 850 tenge per ADS. This is around $1.74 per share. Looking ahead, there are several major growth drivers for the business. First, the continued expansion of the e-commerce marketplace should drive long-term revenue growth. Second, international expansion, especially in Turkey, could significantly increase the company's addressable market if the strategy is successful. And third, fintech services such as buy now, pay later, and consumer lending are still growing rapidly as more users join the ecosystem. Now let's have a look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet looked very strong for the company. KASPI has $1.78 billion in cash and cash equivalent. Its long-term debt is $655 million. So the company has more than $1 billion in cash to invest, buy back shares, or do dividends. One thing I like about KASPI's management is that they finance their growth from their free cash flow and cash on the balance sheet. If we have a look at the numbers of share outstanding, the number barely changed the last couple of years. So we as the shareholders are not being diluted. Now let's do a DCF, a discounted cash flow, to determine the intrinsic value of the stock. For the cash flow, I am considering $700 million. It is, however, worth mentioning that KASPI's cash flow would be much higher when we look at their capex. They invested $258 million in 2025, lowering their free cash flow. Assuming 15% growth in the first year, 10% for the second till the fifth year. Now, if we look at the growth of the company, in 2025, the revenue grew 15%. I am assuming that cash flow will grow the same after they finish their investment in Turkey. For the terminal multiple, I am assuming 12. If we look at the price to free cash flow, 12 is very conservative compared with historic results. The intrinsic value based on this model is $99. The current price is $74, giving us a 25% margin of safety. On top of that, we are getting paid by a dividend while we are waiting. So to summarize, KASPI remains a very strong platform business with impressive fundamentals. The company continues to grow its ecosystem across payments, e-commerce, and fintech, while maintaining very high profitability. Even though profits growth slowed slightly in 2025 due to expansion investments, the underlying business continues to grow at a healthy pace. The key question for investors going forward is whether KASPI can successfully expand beyond Kazakhstan and replicate its super app model in larger markets. If it can, the long-term growth potential of the company could be significant. and we as investors can see high returns. Now, for what I'm doing with my own money and with the stocks I own, I will hold them and not buy anymore, but I will also not sell. The reason is that there is currently a lot of other attractive opportunity in the markets. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of KASPI and what you will do with your shares. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.